Kamal Silvan, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Solunga.
Sir, you can continue the session, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Hi guys. Good evening. Let's get started for today's session. Let me share my screen. Can anyone confirm? So can you see my screen? Already. Thank you. Thanks for confirming. Yeah, let's move on to the topic for today. Okay. So yesterday we saw how to make an API call to the server and fetch data with whatever the URL is for. So this is what we saw yesterday. So we go to the post. Yeah. We saw a couple of things. One is getting data and deleting a data. Okay. So did you guys try the task that I gave you yesterday? So the simple UI. Yeah, can anyone share your screen and show me the demo? Please take the screenshot. Yeah. Okay. So, can you go to the app.js? Okay, can you show the output? Okay. Yeah, it looks good. But if you can see the check mark there, so you have everything common for all the pricing component. So how can you handle them there? So okay, that's not an issue. So what you need to do is, so instead of sending props as like, for suppose if you have everything should be scalable. So what is a scalable? So scalable is nothing but if you have some more requirement in future, okay, your component or your code should allow it. Okay, so for example, currently we have something called single user, 5 GB storage, unlimited public projects, and consider if you have around 3, 6, and 8. Okay, so now we have 8 properties. So in future, if you get 10 or if you get 12, or for example the first pricing will have only 5 feature, and the second pricing will have something called 2 feature. Okay, so that is not so you need to come to the code and modify the things, right? So that should not be the case. Okay, so what you need to have here is you can have these data something kind of an array of object. Okay, so what I'll do is let me share my screen. Okay, so before that, did any other person can demo? I think Manas Kumar. Can you demo already? So in your app.js,
Yeah, actually I have sent three means price card with different values.
okay,
That which are actually different. The tire is different and the cost is different, and the number of users is different, and storage capacity is different. So I've sent that, and actual count is for how many means how many is for uh, means how many details is for tick, or how many is for cross values. And
okay,
domain
okay,
is for, there is an attribute called last, there is unlimited domain is there, so I have sent that to domain extra field. And in the price card I have created two array, positive array and negative array, and I have created an array of details, and all the details is there.
cool, okay, okay.
And in the render function I have pushed all the positive value in the.
Yeah, that's what I told you. So you should never have your logics inside render. Okay, so that
I have
would
just.
take some time. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. So let me share my screen. I will tell you so the efficient way. Okay, so let me do that. I'll just tell you the logic. You guys try out as a solution in future. Okay, so I'll go here. Okay, so you need to create a component. Okay, so this is the component, right? So what it has, so it has list of feature. Okay, and it has a title, and it has some amount, and that's something called per month. Okay, so these are your properties are the title of the card. You may have something called a price. Okay, and the features. Okay, it should have only 3 properties. So let's see here. So uh, okay, I will show you the simple logic now. Here, you are going to create something called pricing card. Okay, so something called, you can have pricing card component. Okay, this component, so you will create this component. Okay, how will you create the component? So what you need to have here is, so you apply CSS everything here. You will get what are all the properties. One is title. Okay, and we can have something called free here. Then you have something called plus. Okay, so I mean the sorry, the pricing. Okay, so price, you can have something like dollar per month. Okay, you can have it in this way. So then the features, list of features inside it. So list of features. Okay, so here what you need to have here is, we can have an array of object. Okay, so basically here you need to have it in this way. Just, okay, so you need to have it in this way. So inside that we have an array, and it has array of objects. Okay, so what this particular object should have. Okay, so feature, the name. Okay, so name is something like single user here, and then okay, here access. So he has access or not. So if it is true, we can display it in the tick mark. If it is false, we can have it in the check, something like this, wrong mark. Okay, so same way we can add it here. Okay, so this is the thing. So 5 GB storage. Okay, then I can take free subdomain here, and then I can have it as false because it doesn't have any access. Okay, the same monthly status reports here, and it is going to take your false. Okay, so this is the basic thing you know to understand when you create this particular component. So this is a string, you don't need it. So this is the particular component that you need. Okay, so this particular card, what it expects, a title, so which is something called free, and what's the price? So we have something called $0 per month, or you can even send differently, like price month. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, so this kind of logic, like price, price per. Okay, so per, something like this, and you can pass month here, and here you can have something called 0. So price is 0, right? So 0, and you can even pass currency. It can be USD or it can be INR. Okay, so you need to think in that way. Okay, so everything should be dynamic. So in future, if they ask you to modify it here to INR, or you need to have or any other thing like euros or whatever. Okay, so you need to have it here. Okay, so currency is here. It's going to be dollar. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll send something called USD. Okay, so this is the thing. So these are the things you need to basically know when creating a component. Why I'm saying in this way, right? Okay, so in future, if someone asks you to add a few new feature to here, okay, you can just add it to an array. Okay, simple. Okay, you need not touch your code base at all. You need to just touch your data alone. Okay, same way. If they ask you to show it everything in your USD, or if they want to show it in your rupees, okay, you can just go over here and change USD to INR. Okay, same way if they ask you to change for, so now currently it's month. Okay, so I need the pricing for per year or 3 months and whatever. Okay, so here you can have year or days and some other things. Okay, same way title you can change. So in future they may change this plus to premium, so pro to any other prime or whatever the thing. Okay, so you can just go over here and change the data alone instead of considering the code. Okay, you should never touch your code. So it should be in the format, like it should be scalable. Okay, so in future if they ask you a new feature, you should not go to the code and change the thing. You just always try to think beyond what the requirement is. Okay, so that's the thing. So now we have the pricing card here. Okay, so we need 3 pricing card. Okay, so something like this and something like this. So is it the way we need to do? No, you should not do it in this way. Suppose if they ask you to have 2 more cards, okay, you should not come to the code and do it in this way. Okay, instead what you can have something like this. You can have everything in an array. So JS, sorry, JavaScript. Okay, so here you can have everything in an array. So for X, what is the array? So the data is something, this particular data is something called pricing, right? So pricing data. Okay, and it's an array. So the first card data, what is the card or data for the first card? Okay, here we can have a title, but the same data title, and it's going to be free. Okay, same way price, it's going to be 0. Okay, this is JSON by normal array. Okay, so what is the price per? So price per can be month. Okay, so then what is the thing? So currency, It can be dollar or USD, whatever that you want. Okay, and feature. So what are all the feature? So your features, what it takes, the copy of this. Okay, so here I'm just going to copy this here. Okay, simple. So now you can create this component, okay, and loop over these particular data and just run this particular component. Okay, let's see. So here, so this is the data for our first component. So this is one object. Okay, so now the next thing is this one. Okay, I'll take the same copy here. So instead of free, here I need to have second data plus what is the price, 9 month. Other than that, everything is same. So single user and free subdomain is true, right? So we can have access to them. Monthly status report is still false. Okay, so other than that, everything is same. Same way, copy the same and have for pro. Okay, and what is the price? 49 and month, and everything is same. Only thing is they have access to everything. True. So everything is true. Okay, so now yeah, an array is ready. Okay, so what you need to do, just have it in the state, or you can store it in a different file and import them. Okay, so what you need to do, you can come here, consider this is in state. Okay, so consider it in this way. So I will have it in state. Okay, for now. So inside my state, okay, I have this particular thing called pricing data. Okay, okay, see, consider this is a state part alone. Okay, I have my pricing data. Okay, inside the pricing data, I have three array. I mean three elements. One is this particular card, this particular card, this particular card. Okay, you have only the data. So now you can, what you can do in your render function, you can just go over here. So state dot map. Okay, and you sorry, state dot pricing data dot map, and you will be getting each and every pricing here. Okay, and loop over those things. Okay, and return your pricing card here. So you have created a pricing card already, right? So this particular component. Okay. So just return. So here what you need to do, here I'm just going to have something called send pricing dot title. Okay. So what else the data? So title, price, and other things, right? So pricing dot price. Okay. Or you can do a destructuring here. Okay. So title, price, price per currency, and feature. Okay, so you can directly pass over the title. Okay, so price, same way for price per here, and same way for currency, and same way for features. Okay, that's it. So your app.js should have this data, and your pricing card should take title. So one title here, it takes a price, it takes price per, it takes all the feature, and using that flag like access true false, right? Using that you can dynamically display this particular tick mark and check mark and other things. Okay, so now see the scalable now. Okay, suppose if they ask you to add new feature, what you will do, just come to the data here. Okay, take a copy of it and add a new feature, something called test. Okay, something like this. Okay, you can just go over here. So if it has access to free plus or pro, okay, so you can just go over change here. Okay, so how scalable it is now. Now they will ask you to change the price. Okay, just go over here, change the price alone. Same way for month and other things. Okay, you need not touch your pricing card component at all. You should just change this particular state alone, the data alone. Okay, so clear on this. So clear on this part. Can everyone confirm? So this is how you should have done this. So this is where logical comes into place. This is not with respect to like React or JavaScript. So this is very basic. So you need to please what you need to understand here is always think beyond the requirement that they gave. Okay. So for example, if a requirement comes here and you need to add two features, you need to list two things, okay, and you need to have some title and other things, okay. So you need to understand in your mind, or you need to have in your mind that So in future, we may get some new feature. Okay. So we need to write them dynamically. So that is what your things should come. Okay. So see the same. You need not touch your pricing card at all. Okay. You just had the data here. Okay. So just modify the data that you need. Okay. You can just pass them as a property, and your pricing card will display all these data. Okay. Yeah. Ram Sarona, you can share your screen. Let me stop sharing. Okay, title plus. Okay, so you have all the features into a different array. Okay, cool. Okay. So then, can you go to the app.js?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you go to the app.js?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so you are just rendering your card component, and that particular card component has super. Yeah, this is what I expect. Okay, super. So you have that check mark and everything in a different array, right? Available
Yes,
and not available. Okay, so this is also good. So yeah, this is what I expect. Yeah,
Output
good.
result. This is only right. I have to work on
You mean the styling?
styling and array also. I need to loop it.
Okay, okay, that's not an issue. So I just need the logic. That's what I mentioned. I don't need the output. I just need to know how you guys think. Yeah, this is good.
Fine.
Yeah. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so okay, so please try out your task in this way. Okay, so always think dynamically. So always think the way of implementing a new feature that so that it would be. So the key here is scalable. Okay, so we usually say in the developer terms it is called scalable. So please follow that. Okay, so let's move on to the today's topic. Okay. So yesterday we saw something called NAP. Okay, so we saw post application. So we just had something called get API and delete API. Okay, so today what we will see is, so let me run the application. So npm start. So here, just give a minute. Okay, so what we saw yesterday is we saw how to get all our posts, and then we saw how to delete a particular post. Okay, so today what we will concentrate on them is we will have something called adding a new post, and we will have something called editing a new post, editing an existing post. Okay, so we'll try to achieve them. So what we'll need to have here is, so in order to add a new post, what do we need? We need a form that takes an input of user ID, title, and number. Okay, so let's get started. So here on above the table I will have my form. Okay, so the first thing is I need to have three fields, right? User ID, title, and body. So I will have label. So first parameter user ID, and input, this is ID, right? So I can have it as number. So number here. Okay, I can have a name to that particular field, user ID. Okay, so we have our user ID ready there. So now we need to add what else the thing we need to add. So we need to add title. Okay, and it's going to be type text, and again it's going to be title here. Okay, so title is ready. So then what else we need? So we'll have something like this. Okay, so now body. Okay, here again it's going to be text only. Okay, I'll have body here. Simple. Okay, so what I'll do is, so I have just created three fields. Okay, so after typing here, I will have a submit function here. Okay, submit button. I'll click on the submit button. It should add to the UI. Okay, so that's what we are trying to achieve now. Okay, so I will have a button input type equal to submit. So we have our button ready. Yes. So now we need to track these things. Okay, so now you are going to instruct me. So what is the first thing that I need to do? So I'm going to use control component. I'm not going to use any libraries. So what is the first thing that I need to do in the form handling? What is the control component, or what is the control forms? Guys, please respond. Okay, state control. So what I need to do now? So in this particular form, how to handle my forms, like the changing the text and other things. What I need to do? So you're going to instruct me. Please respond. Did you guys go over the job application that we created? So we created forms here, right? So those validation, other things. Did you guys just try these things? So I can get response only one person. Why not everyone? Okay. So in my state, what I need to have, I need to have each and every form field ID, right? A state, right? So I'll have that here, user ID, and initially it should be empty. Same way, title, it's going to be empty again. Then it's going to be body here, and it's going to be empty again. Okay, and I need to bind those state here, right? So value this dot state dot user ID. Okay, same way value this dot state dot title. So value again, it's going to be this dot state dot body. Okay, so then we are ready. So now I'm typing here. So why is not working? I'm typing here. Why it is not working? Exactly. So set state. So what I'll do is here I need to create a function, right? So what is the function? It's something called handle change, right? So handle change. Okay. Here I'll be what I will be getting. So I'm going to ask questions only now. So I'm not going to type anything until you guys answer. So what I will be getting here? So I will be having handle change to each and every input type here. Okay. So what I will be getting it here as a param. Okay. Event. So inside event, what should I get? Target. Okay. So inside target, what should I get? Exactly. So I will have event attribute by here by default. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll do the object structure, get the target. Inside that I will have called name and value. Okay. So we are ready now. Now, so what should I write here? So this dot set state. Okay. So this is what I need to write. Is it correct? What happened to you guys? Okay, cool. So we just added the form field, something called curly braces here. Okay, sorry, square bracket. So that's what we saw here. So if you remember what we did in our job application, so you might not know this. See here, this dot set state. The same way we use the same way. I just created the same form. I just added 3 fields now. Okay, and the submit button here. Okay. Now here on change, I need to call the particular function handle change. Okay, same way here, same way here. Okay, so now if I type in here, it will work. Okay, same way here as well. Okay, so now we are ready. Our form is ready. So once we click on submit, okay, so what we need to do, we need to create a function, right, on submit. So on submitting the form, I will have a function called this dot handle submit. Okay, so handle submit here I'll be getting event. Okay, as you know, so here E. So now what I should do here? Yeah, it's called event dot E dot prevent default. So what is the reason to have that? Exactly. So even preventing from reloading. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just do a console here. Okay. Just print submitted. Yeah, I could get responses now. Okay. So let's see. I go over here. Sorry. So here I'm going to type in something like this and type something like this and then submit here. Okay, submitted is being called. Okay, so where my data is, it's inside my this dot state, right? So I can directly call state dot user ID, state dot title, and state dot body. Okay, so what I need to do now? So I need to send this data to my server and it should give me response. Okay, so what I need to do here? So once the form is submitted, here I have a create post, right? So let's write a logic here. Okay, so try catch. Okay, so I'll have this error and console.log of error. Okay, so now what should I have it in my try? Okay, so const, so I'll be getting some data. I'm going to make post API. Okay, so post method. Why it is a post method? Because we are going to create a new resource, right? So same URL here. Okay, so now here we need to send our data, right? So we need to say, for example, whenever you if you want to create a new response or a new method or a new resource into your backend, what you need to have? So you need to first send the data that you are going to create, right? So that is the purpose of your second param here. Okay. In your second param, you need to send the data that you are going to create. Okay. So what is the data I need to have here? So what should I mention here? So where is my data now? That's what my question is. So where is my data? So my form field is here. Okay. So it's not post. So why do we need to send the post? So post will have already all the array data, right? So what is the data that we need to send? This particular data that we are going to create, right? So this dot state dot user ID, this dot state dot title, and this dot state dot body. Okay. So let's do that now. Here, so it accepts something called something like object. Okay. So here what we need to send, user ID, and where it is, this dot state dot user ID. And then what is the property that we have? Title, right? So title, this dot state dot title. And the last thing is body. So body here, this dot state dot body. Okay, we are done. So I need to have a sync here. I need to have await here. Okay, so I'll just console the data here. Console.log of data. Okay. So what I need to do, I need to call them in my handle change function here, right? So sorry, handle submit, right? So once it is submitted, we need to call our function, right? So this dot create post. Simple. Okay. So what I have done here is, once I type in here something like this and something like this here, okay, and I click on submit, what will happen? This particular submit function will be called. Okay, there I called my this dot create post. Okay, so what is a create post does? It will make an API call to the server with the post call, with the post method. It takes URL. So what is the URL here? So this is the URL, right? So that URL, and what is the data that you want to create? The second param. Okay. So user ID, user ID, title, body, everything is in a state, because you just typed in and modify your state directly, right? So it will be available inside your state. So once it is done, we are just consoling them. Okay. So let's see. Here I'm going to click on the submit. Okay. So once it is submitted, we are getting a response here. See, body, title, user ID, and we are getting ID called 101. So what is the confirmation here? It means we have our resource has been created, or our new data has been created, and we are getting a new ID for that. ID equal to 101. Okay. So what it means is this is success now. Okay. So far clear on this? So basic form handling. Yeah, we just refresh the form handling things. So clear? Can everyone confirm at least now? Okay, so I'm happy that at least I'm getting some response. Okay. So now we are ready with our things like created. Okay, so if you go to the network here, okay, so our response is coming here as well. Okay, so now what should we do now? So you have inserted the new data, okay, into your server. So what is the next step? Exactly. So we need to render the newly created data here, right? So here. So currently it's 100 data. You have inserted a new data. There should be 101, right? So that what should we do now? So you are going to answer me. So what is the logic that you need to mention here? So basically, you already display 100 data. Okay. No, you should never refresh page. That's what I mentioned yesterday. Yes, push. So any other ideas that you have? So one is push, then no, it's not component update. So component update is nothing but whenever the state change happens, component update will be called. So this is not the case here. So then what we need to do? So what we did in the case of deleting the data. So here, what we did here. So we just deleted the data and filtered that particular data alone from the list, and again updated the state. Okay. Same. What you need to do here. So I'm getting the response here. Your data is here. Okay. So what you need to do is the same. Just take a copy of your post. Okay. And just do post dot push. Okay. Push of that particular new data. Okay. So your new post also will be added at the end of your post. Okay. Once this is done, just call this dot set state posts. Okay. Simple. So now Let's try. Okay, so I have 100 data. I'm going to insert a new data now. So test something like this. Click on submit. Submitted. Okay, so if we go to the C here, bottom 101, new data has been added. So whatever that I typed in, it is available here. Okay, clear? Clear on how we did this? Just update that particular array. So that's why your state is very powerful. Okay, we in React everything is state. Using state you can do anything. So that's what we have did here. We just created a new post. Okay, and we will be getting response here in our array, something called data here. It's an object. Okay, so just take a copy of your post and push it to the existing array and update the state. It will automatically re-render again because you are doing set state, right? Your render function will be automatically called. Okay, clear on this? Clear on this logic? So now we also need some validation. Yes, we need to do some validation. So that's what I covered in your job application itself. This particular this topic is only for your APIs. Okay, so we are going to handle APIs. So please add your validation and other things whenever you create a form. Okay, so I'm not going to handle them now. So now we are ready. Okay, so we are ready with our post and everything. We created a post. Okay, so once you created a post, see your form should refresh here, right? Or your form's data should be cleared, right? How can we do that? Let's see your logical thinking now. So how can we clear this data? So once adding the data, okay, so you have added a new data, okay, and it's been added to your UI as well, okay, and here you need to clear the form, right? How can I do it? Exactly, exactly. So you need to clear out the user ID, title, and the body here, okay. So once you update the post here, we can update the user ID as well to empty. Same way for title, same way for body. Okay. So let's see. So now we have 100 data here. Go here, just print whatever the type you want to type here. Okay, click on submit. Okay, so it is clear and your data also added. Okay, so simple. So everything is with your state. Okay, manage everything is with your state now. Okay, so we are done with creating our post. So collectively, do you guys have any questions? So here it can be const because this push method. So do you guys have any questions till now? Hopefully it should not. Okay, so let's move on to update an existing post. Okay, I'm going to tell the scenario. Okay, so you're going to answer me. So your scenario is, so let's see your thinking. So I'm going to have a button called edit here. Okay, when I click on that particular edit button, I need to populate these data to my form here. Okay, how can I do it? Is my question understanding? So I'm going to have a button here, edit. Okay. When I click on the particular edit button, my existing data, right? So user ID 1, title, body, everything should populate here. And I when click on the submit, okay, it should update. So I can modify that data here. Okay. And when I click on the submit, that particular data should be modified. Okay. How can I do it? So you need not go to that level. Okay. Just click on, whenever I click on this button, those data should be populated here. Exactly. So Ashwini mentioned there. So you need to fetch the side user ID, title, and body, everything, and get the data directly, placed it here. Just update the state. Okay. Let's see. So I will have one more button. Okay. So here it's going to be edit. Okay. Simple. So now what I need to do, whenever I click on the particular post edit button, the data should be populated here. Okay. What I need to do here is here what I will have something called one more function called select post. Okay, so I'm going to select the post that we are going to update. So this select post here. Okay, so simple function. and I'll call this particular function here, select post. And here I need these data, right? So title, body, user ID, right? Instead of passing ID, I can pass my post directly. Each and every post here, ID, user ID, and title. So now you see the scenario. We need complete post here. Okay. So we need complete these data. So what you need to do, either you should do some object destructuring and send it something like this, or you just remove the object destructuring here. Okay. So either way, it's up to the scenario. Okay. Here post. So you can call post.id, post.id, post.user ID, post.title, post.body, and here you can pass your post directly. Okay, and same applies here as well. Okay, what I did is I just removed my object destructuring. So what is the reason? Why did I remove the object destructuring? Because I need the complete data of my post, because I am going to populate this particular data inside my here form, this particular form. So I need these data, user ID, title, and body, everything here. Okay, that's why I just modified my post. I modified the object destructuring, removed it, and passed the select post here. So when I click on edit button, what will happen? I will get my post data here, right? So let me print it. So here I will just console.log of post. Okay. So if I click on this edit button, see, I'm getting that particular data alone. If I go on to something like 15 here, okay, the 15, the data I will be getting. Same way for 24 and other things. Okay. So now I got the data. Okay. So now I can populate those data here, right? Here. So in my populate, how can I do that? Just update your state. Okay. So this dot set state. Okay. So what is inside your form? So we have user ID, title, and body, everything here, right? So here, user ID, title, body, everything. Instead of having those things, you can just call post dot user ID. Same way, post dot title. Same way, post dot body. Okay. So what I have did here, I just got my every post here. Okay, and user ID equal to post dot user ID, title is equal to post dot title, and body. Okay. So I will do a refresh now. Okay. See if I click on edit. See, if I click on the edit button of this. Okay. See, same way if I go on to click on any other thing or something like this. Okay. See, that particular data is populated now. Okay. So now, okay. Before that, you guys clear on this? Okay. So now I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. So now, if I click on submit, what will happen? Here, if I click on submit, what will happen? It will call the handle submit function. Okay. It will call my create post function here. Okay. So it will. So now if I click on submit, a new post will be created instead of updating that particular post. Okay. So how can we differentiate the create post and update post in your handle submit function here? So do you guys have any idea on this or any logical thinking? So here I just called my create post directly. Okay, exactly. So Swati mentioned there. So what you need to have is ID. Okay. So if the initially your form will not have ID, right? So what we'll do is here I will have one more thing called ID. Okay. So whenever ID is empty, it is something called creating a new post. If there is an ID, it is something called updating post. Okay, so that's the logic. So here in my handle submit function, here if this dot state dot ID, so if there is an ID, what we need to do? We need to call our update post. Okay, if there is no ID, we should create the post. So simple logic. Okay, here I just copy this here. Okay, simple. Now whenever we edit particular post, for example, if I click on this particular post edit, I will be getting this ID as well, right? So here See here, I will be getting that ID as well, right? So I will update the state ID also there. Okay. So ID equal to post dot ID. Okay. So now what will happen? So for example, if I click on this edit, if I click on submit, what will happen? So now what will happen? You guys are going to answer me. If I click on submit, what will happen? Will it take to create a new data or the update post? Will it call create post or update post? Update post, exactly. So what is the reason? Because now your state has ID. What it means is this is something like, for example, I click on edit here. Okay, so this data is specific to ID 1. Okay, same if I click on something like this data is specific to ID 12. Okay, so based on ID, we just modified the conditions here. Okay, so that's the thing. So now I'm going to show you. You might have known this. Okay, your ID, your ID, your user ID, user ID, title, title, body, and body. So everything is same. So what can we do here? So can we simplify this? So basic JavaScript. So how to simplify this? So everything is common. ID is common. Here ID, user ID, user ID, title, title. How can we do this? Modify this? Any answers? Okay. So you learned spread operator, right? So just go over here, delete this, use your spread operator. Okay, simple. So that's why I mentioned you will be using spread operator. So what will happen? So whatever inside your post here, ID, user ID, title, and body, everything will be copied here in your state, and it will modify your state. Okay, see how it is reduced now. Okay, now see here, click on edit, it will work as the same. See, work as the same. So no change at all. Clear? So clear on this? Why did I do this? I'm just spreading the object that is inside the post, okay, into my state, okay. So it will update my state, right? So instead of doing something like this, okay, something like this. For example, you have around 15 fields in your form, okay. So you need to add 15 lines, right? So instead of doing that, just go over here, just use spread operator. It will update as expected. So see how your code get reduced, just one line. So that's the thing. So this is the update. What I will do is let it be here. Okay. So now let's go on to update our. So what are you going to call here? We are going to call update post, right? So we need to write logic here. So now you are going to again answer me. So what I'll do is here again try. So try catch console.log of error. So inside try, what you need to have const data. So you'll be getting data there. Okay. So axios dot put. Okay. So this is going to update your post, right? So put. Okay. So I mentioned you whenever you use put, what should be the URL? Yesterday we saw. So what should be the URL for the put? Exactly. So for put, API URL slash ID. So where do we have our ID? It's in state already. So this dot state dot ID. Okay. So now we just mentioned our URL. So what is the data that you are going to modify? You need to mention that here, right? So you can directly go over here and assign them something like this. Okay. So this dot something like this. Simple. Okay. So now see this user ID, title, title, body, body. What we can do here? Any ideas? So why instead of taking like spread operator, why did I use it? Why did I use this? Oh, if you use spread operator, what will happen? Everything inside your state will be going to that particular data. So inside state we have posts also. We have IDs also. So ID is not needed. Post is not needed. That's why I have it in this way. So state user ID and user ID. So what else we can do? Any other options? So it looks clumsy. So simple object destructuring. Okay. So go over here. Yeah, someone mentioned there. So user ID, title, body. Okay. So where you are going to destructure it? From your state. Simple. So now you don't need to have this. You just don't need to have this as well. You don't need to have this as well. Okay. So everything is working as expected. The same applies here. Okay. So I have ID also in my state, right? In the case of update, I can have it in this way. I don't need state. I know I don't need this. I don't need this anymore. And I don't need this anymore. Okay. Simple. So I'll do a console again, the updated data. So console.log of data. Okay. So we are ready. Now let's see. My first data is, see, one, some this particular value, the body here, right? That value here, and something else, stunt and other things. Okay. So I'm going to update my title to different things, something called test title. Okay, and body to only body test, GUI and other things. Okay, so I'm going to submit this. What will happen? It will call your update post. Okay, so submit. Okay, now if you can see the URL, see JSON placeholder, the post and /ID1, so which we mentioned, and the put method. Okay, so see the response. We are getting an updated response now. So body that I gave here, test I gave here, test title, user ID I didn't touch it, so one itself. And for the ID one I modified, right? So I just it is success now. Okay, if I go here, see the console, see the new data has been printed. So that's what I console it here. Okay, so now what is the logic to update our data? So what is the next logic? We updated the data in our server. Yeah, before doing that, is it clear? Is it clear on the update post part? Okay, thanks for confirming. So now we updated the data in the server. Okay, we need to do the same thing in our to reflect in our UI, and also we need to refresh our form as well. Okay, so let's do it. How can we do that? So first thing is we need to know the index. Okay, so index of that particular, then only you can modify in that particular address, right? So in order to modify the data in your array, so basic logical thinking, you have an array. If you want to modify a data inside your array, so what is the first thing that you need? You need to know the index, right? So you have an array, something called array equal to, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So what you need to do here is, so same way this array is here. Okay. So it's an array of object. You need to modify the this value here, right? 2 to something called 4. Okay. So your array should be like 1, 4, 3, 4. Okay. So what is the first thing that you need to know? So you need to know the index, right? So where is the particular element is present? So that's what we are going to achieve. See, array dot, we have something called find index. Okay, and here we will be getting that element here. Okay, so element equal to 2. Okay, so it is giving you address C here. So what I'll do is I just mention array dot find index where my element equal to 2. So here it is 2, right? Its address is 1 because array starts with 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if the where is the element equal to 2 here, okay, it is here in the first place, okay, first place. Same I'm going to do here, okay. First, what I'll do is I'm going to check the index. So what I'll do, this dot state dot post. Okay, I'm not going to take in that way. I have the object destructuring here. So posts dot find index. Okay. So what is the index here? I will be getting each and every post here, right? Okay. So what is the condition here? Our post dot ID should be equal to our ID in our state. Okay. So that's the thing. So what is the index? What is the condition? You are going to fetch a post. Okay. So you are going to fetch the index of a post which is having ID, which is respect to your state here. Okay. Suppose if I click on this edit button, the index of the post arrays, this is 0, right? So this is 0th element in your array, first element in array. Okay. So that particular index I will be getting here. Okay. So see, I will do a console.log of index. Okay. So for now, I will just comment this. Okay. See now, if I click on this and submit, I should get 1. Okay. What is the? I mean, I should get 0. So what is the reason? So this is the 0th element in my array. Same way, if I go here, my third, this is third ID here. If I click on this, I should get 2. So if I submit, I should get 2. Okay. So that's the thing here. So what is the post I'm going to update? I need that particular index, right? So that's what. So now go over here. I got my index. So now what we can do, that we can do the array. So we can easily modify our array, right? So how can we do that? So basic thing. So posts of index. Okay. So basic thing here. So I mentioned an example. So here we have an array and you need to modify first find index here. Okay. I'm going to find index. Okay. And the element equal to, for example, element equal to 4. Okay. So my 4 is in third place, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So in order to do that, now I know the index. Okay. I can directly go over here and use that index 3 here and to modify it to something called 34. Okay. If I print array, see it's modified 34. Same thing. Now I have my index ready. I can just, I have my index here. Okay. And just have that particular data modified here. Okay. Simple. So now if I update my post, so set state post here. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to update my post, first post. Okay. Modify it to something called test body, something like test, something like 21. Okay. Submit. See, it's modified. What is the reason? Because we found the index of the particular element in our array and modify that particular element with the latest data. Yeah. So we just find out the array, index of that array, modify directly with the array of that particular index. Okay, modify with the new data. So after the updation, we will be getting the new data, right? I am updating the new data to that particular index. So when you print this, okay, so see here, console.log of, if I print this, so if I print this, modifying here, modifying something like this, and modifying something like this. Okay. So this is my old data. I already showed you here, right? This is my old data. See, that's what I console. Now I modified that old data with the new data that I updated. Here, post of index equal to the data that I am getting after my put API. Okay. So it's updated and I'm updated the state as well. And that's why it has updated my UI as well now. Okay. So now we need to clear out the form, right? So clear out of ID, user ID, and everything, right? So the same thing. So ID equal to empty, user ID equal to empty, title equal to empty, and body equal to empty. Okay. So see now, so complete form. So I'm going to edit this, modify it to something like this, and modify it to something like this. Submit. Cleared. Updated the data in the UIS. Okay. Clear on the editing part. edit and update. Do you guys have any questions? Can everyone confirm? All right. Okay. So this is all about your CRUD application. Okay. So we saw all the scenarios. One is get, create, update, and delete. Okay. So everything is being handled. So we saw form handling as well. So we got a refresh of form handling, and we saw how. So this particular code here, right? Your this application post app, this particular component will have all the things that we saw in the last classes. Okay, from the scratch. So what we saw in the first class, so create React app and what is the props and state and other things. Okay, so we saw fragments, event handling, properties, function, class component, everything is here. Okay, same way, what are the topics that we covered? Your lifecycle method. So we have a lifecycle method called component did mount here. Okay, so what else that we need? So form handling. So we saw form handling here. So we have certain field and we saw something called handle change and handle submit as well. Okay, what else? So CRUD application, we used Axios, we saw get, put, post, and delete. Everything is done here. Okay, so all your topics covered in this particular component itself. Okay, so that's all about your post and put. So collectively, do you guys have any questions? So not about today's topic. Collectively, do you guys have anything? What is hooks? We have a session in hooks. Okay, so the next session would be on the React hooks. We will see it in the next session. So what else? So what are all the topics that you want to cover now? The old topics. Okay. So if not, what we will do is, yeah, how to use CSS on separate components for whole app. Separate components. How to disable the button. Yeah, your button should have a disabled property. Your button will have a disabled property, right? By default, in HTML itself, we have a disabled property. So if you add that particular property, your button will be disabled. So it's not new to React. Yeah, can you explain briefly about callback promise? Uh, it's a vast topic actually. So callback promise and async, right? Okay, that's like out of scope of my React syllabus. What I'll do is I will give you a refresh on once your React is complete. I will take a session on JavaScript, some basic JavaScript again. Okay, so then you will get to understand them. So it now, if I start them, it will be diverging from the topic. That's why. Sorry about that. So how to use CSS or separate components for whole app? Yeah, we'll see that. So today we will see that. Okay. So now what I will do is, so we are done with the today's topic called post and put. Okay. So now what I'll do is, I'm going to show you how to have the bootstrap things and applying the CSS and other things. Okay. So let's see. And you need to apply CSS to separate components. You need to have a separate something called, it's an object actually. Okay. So let's see. So this is our table here, right? So we will apply bootstrap to this particular design, bootstrap CSS to your post app. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to use React bootstrap. So this is a React bootstrap package here. Okay. So this is again an NPM package. Okay. So you can directly install React bootstrap. So if you go here, so npm install React bootstrap. Okay. So if we do this, you need not like directly go over the things. Something like you need not apply CS and other things. Okay. So if you want to have a bootstrap button, you just import a button from your React bootstrap directly. Okay. So you need to pass some properties to them. For example, okay, let's see. Let's get started for first. Okay, so I will do this. Yon add. So in your case, you need to use npm install. Okay. So on the yesterday's topic, what you guys did is you just copied the CSS from that particular site, right? So here, if I go to this particular thing here, you just copy the CSS, which they mentioned here. Okay, so CSS. So these are all the CSS. Okay, so this is very specific to Bootstrap. So did you guys learn Bootstrap already? Some basics, you know, right? In your Bootstrap. Okay, so then it will be easy for you. Okay, so now, so I have just installed my Bootstrap part. Okay, so what this particular package does is it will combine your Bootstrap, your React. Okay, it will combine to have one separate library called React Bootstrap. Okay, so what it does is it will have a button. For example, if you take a button here, okay, so in the case of normal Bootstrap, what you will do to have a button, something like with the primary color, what you need to do, so you will have a CSS called btn and something like btn hyphen primary. Okay, so that's what you will do. But here, what you'll do here is you will import a component called a button from your React Bootstrap itself. Okay, so that particular button you have here, right? You just need to pass some properties, something called props. Okay, so what is a props? For example, color equal to something called primary, and what else? So those are the things that you need to just add them. Okay, so let's see. First we start. Let's get started here. I need to import the CSS here. Okay, so first thing I already mentioned you, in order to apply a CSS, go to index.js. Okay, instead of having my CSS, I'll have my Bootstrap. See, this is from your Bootstrap package. So we installed two packages, right? One is React Bootstrap, one is Bootstrap. Okay, we installed two packages. So if we go to package.json here, so Bootstrap is installed and React Bootstrap is also installed. Okay, so okay, this syntax may look different for you. So here, if you want to add multiple modules, you can just separate by space here, and you can add all your packages here. You can install multiple packages also. Okay, so that's what they did. They installed a package called React Bootstrap. They installed a package called Bootstrap at version 5.0.2. Okay, so now you need to import that CSS in your root of application, right? So that's what here. So Bootstrap, inside your Bootstrap package, so there will be some certain folder structure here. So Bootstrap min.css, very simple. Okay. So now we are done with the setup. Okay. So now go over here. I'll start my application. So see, some new CSS has been added. See, your buttons are something like different now because you have added your Bootstrap, right? So suppose if I remove this, see now a different CSS. See the buttons. It has nothing here. Okay. Suppose if I use that CSS, refresh. See, some new CSS has been added from your Bootstrap. Okay. So now your application is ready to have Bootstrap. So now, for example, if you want to have a table CSS, so what I will do is I will compare them. Okay, I will go to Bootstrap documentation. So I will go to layout, something called table. Okay, so to have this particular table, what you need to have, you need to add a class called table. You need to add something called scope, column, and other things. Okay, same way you can have multiple things like table primary, table secondary, table success. You need to add these classes. Okay, so in the case of React Bootstrap, okay, they will do is they will create they will give you a component directly. Okay, so go to the component section here, table. Okay, see here now the same thing. You just need to pass it as a property here. Okay, so the see, this is a table from your bootstrap. So what I'll do is I will just show this particular thing in the case of bootstrap. Okay, so I am going to import why there is no suggestion. So here, this is the package that we use. Okay, so here inside your React Bootstrap, there will be a component called table. Okay, so instead of using normal HTML table, you can go over there, the table that is given by your Bootstrap. Okay, the same here. Okay, Bootstrap table. So it's a component given by your Bootstrap. Okay, so same here. Other than that, everything is same. T head. Oh, I missed to add PR here. Okay, so everything is same. See, other than that, everything is same. Okay, so now if we go to here, so I refresh. See now, your Bootstrap CSS has applied. Okay, so we will just add these properties now. So these three things to our table here. Okay, see, your Bootstrap CSS is applied. So this is how we will be applying CSS to your application. Basically, we will use Bootstrap or any other things like Materialize and other things. Okay, so there will be obviously there will be a library that combines your React and your Bootstrap. There are other designs as well, something called Materialize. Okay, so there will be there is a package called Material-UI. So what that particular package does is it will combine your material design and your React, okay, and combines to give you a component. Okay, so here you just use table here, right? So what is a table here? So table is a component that has been given by your React Bootstrap. Okay, so that's the thing. So you just use you just use your Bootstrap table now instead of using your using the normal HTML table. Okay, so see now it looks good. The same. Let's try for your edit and other things as well. So let's move on to the C documentation here. Buttons. Okay. So for example, for editing and deleting, I will have danger here. Okay. So what I'll do is go over here, get the button. Okay. So instead of using normal HTML button, I have the button from your Bootstrap. Okay. So just save. So go here. See, now by default, it will apply a primary button, right? So that's why see here now. So now edit and delete. If you want to explicitly have something called red color, we need to add a property called variant. Okay, so go over here, just add a property here. Okay, so now see, edit and delete and everything. Same. This is what this is what you need to. This is how we will be comparing or combining your Bootstrap things and your React thing. Okay. So go over here. Okay, so you can see the basically come here. You can see the documentation. So now you may need, so someone asked me, right? So if you want to have disabled button, just go over here and add a disable property. For example, something like this. So if you go here, see your button is disabled. Now I cannot click at all. So it is disabled. So that's how this is something normal with your normal with your Bootstrap itself. I mean your HTML itself. You just add a property called disable. It will make them disabled. Okay. So now you can ask me a question. Okay. So this is Bootstrap, and they give a component called button in order to use your Bootstrap buttons. Okay. They give a component called button. So here variant and some other new properties are available, right? So how can we remember them? That's what yesterday I mentioned you. You need not remember them at all. Okay. So whenever there is a development time, okay, you just use the documentation. So suppose if you have a button and they ask you to have something called something like this. Okay. So they ask you to have yeah outline button instead of something like this. Okay, instead of having like this, just outline alone. Okay, you can come here, just add a property called variant and outline primary. Okay, Same way, if you want to know what are all the properties here, okay. So whatever the component that you go, there will be something called API here, okay. So inside that button, come here. So these are all the properties that are accepted by properties are nothing but props, right? So these are all the props that are accepted by your button, okay. So see, disabled, you can have XRF, you can have size. So for example, I can add size here. So size equal to something like, so what is the possibilities? SM, okay. I can have SM here. So it's a small button, so that's why SM. So if you go to the UI here, so your button is now small. Same way, if I go to the edit here, I can apply the same. Okay, so if I go to the edit here, so it's now small. Okay, so that's how. So you can go over the documentation here and see variant accepts these things: primary, secondary, success, danger, warning, info, dark, and whatever. Okay, if you add outline before that particular name here, okay, it will add your only the outline CSS. Okay, so that's the thing. For the same, whatever the Bootstrap has, this particular component also, this particular library will also have. So what else? Accordion, alerts, drop down. So go to the form section, see the forms. So this is the form that we need here, right? So in this case, just go over here, import the component called form, and inside that you will have something called form group, and if you want to have some classes, you can add them. Okay, so see button variant. Okay, the same form how it looks now. So this is with Bootstrap. We can add them here. So in this case, we just had some normal HTML form. We can add them here. Okay, the same applies for any other thing like nav bars. Okay, so this nav bar. So by default, there is a nav bar here, and pagination, table, spinners, progress, everything is available that we had in our Bootstrap. Okay. Only thing is it combines with React and give us a component. Okay. So that's the thing. How to create responsive screen. So that is why we use a library called Bootstrap. So we know what is a table and we know how to apply CSS to the table and other things. Okay. But there comes a problem called responsive. So what is a responsive? So suppose I'm viewing this table. Okay. So see here, I'm viewing this particular form now. Okay. So I come here and inspect. So if the screen size is reduced, what happens here? My submit button gets down here, right? Same way, if I want to see it, how it looks in your mobile screen, so there is an option here. Okay, so there is an option here. So it's something called mobile screen. So you can see how it will look like in your mobile. Okay, so see here now. So this is how it will show in your mobile. Okay, so a Moto G4. If you want to have Pixel, you can have it in this way. Suppose if you have iPad, or if you have something called iPhone 678, okay, you look. So what it means is it will give you how it looks like when you see it in the mobile. Okay, so see your table by default looks uh, correctly. So there is no need of any response. So how it happens? Because that's why we are moving to a library instead of we writing a new CSS. Okay, so what is the main purpose of going into a library? Something called a Bootstrap or Materialize. What it has is they give more features than we write. Okay, for example, the main thing is responsiveness. So responsiveness is nothing but whatever the screen that you look, you can see this page in your phone, or you can see it in an iPad or in your browser or a big TV and whatever. Okay, so it should look, the UI should not break. Okay, so that is the key thing. So that's the purpose of your libraries. Okay, your libraries will deal them. Only thing is you need to know that particular CSS, and when you apply those CSS, those class names and other things, okay, it will does everything for us. Okay, so we need not make ourselves complicate. Okay, so that's the thing. So always prefer a library instead of in the case of CSS. Okay, so always prefer a library. So this apply, you can have everything here. Okay, so if you want to have modal, go over here. So see the documentation. So it means there is a modal library, modal component in your React library, React Bootstrap library. You click on this, the pop-up comes. Okay, so these are all the things that are given by this particular library. Okay, so from now on, okay, if you demo me, if I ask you to do some task or demo, okay, always use something called a bootstrap or library here to have styling. Okay, so prefer this library. So what is the library? You need to install two things. One is here. One is your React Bootstrap. Either do in this way: npm install React Bootstrap, npm install Bootstrap, or you can install both of them in one line. npm install React Bootstrap. Just have a space Bootstrap, and if you want to mention any version, you can give it. Okay, and in the root of the project here in your index.js, import that particular project here. Okay, so either you can do it in this way. Okay, so either you can do it in this way, or you can have your in your index.html. You might have known CDN, right? So have you guys know CDN? CDN, yeah. You guys learn them? So what is a CDN? So a CDN is nothing but a repository kind of thing here. Okay, so inside CDN you will have all the libraries. Okay, exactly. So it will have every library. So for example, CDN, if you want to search for Bootstrap, go over here, CDN Bootstrap. Okay, and it will give you a link. Okay, so for example, if you want to download anything, see, you just copy this, copy script tag here, go over here and paste it them. Okay, the particular CSS will be applied. So that is what your CDN is. Okay, so it will give you all things. It is not like Bootstrap. You can search any library here. So inside library you can search some libraries and they add them into your Bootstrap. I mean, add them to your HTML index.html. It can be CSS, it can be JS or whatever. Okay, in our case we just added our CSS, something like this, because your documentation gives us that feature. Okay, so it gives us a feature called like here. Okay, or if you want to use CDN, okay, you need to use it in this way. So two ways. One is you can install a library called Bootstrap and install this. So why do we install the Bootstrap library? So here we install the Bootstrap library here, right? What is the purpose? It is going to import your CSS here. Okay, but if you don't need this, okay, suppose if you don't need this, you can remove them. Okay, and you can remove them from the library as well. Okay, you can have your React Bootstrap alone. Okay, instead have this particular link here. Okay, the CDN link in your index.html. Okay, so basic normal HTML that we do, right? So in our head we will have our have our all the CSS applied there, right? So that should happen there. Okay, so that's the thing. So clear on this? Do you guys have any questions or suggestions or what I need to, anything that I need to mention? See, I didn't use the Bootstrap library now. See, I removed the Bootstrap library from my CSS here. Same way I removed my Bootstrap from my package.json as well. But it is working. How it is working? Because we just added index in this way. Okay, so you can either do this or you can have them imported as a React library. Okay, it's up to you. Clear on this? Clear on the CSS part? So adding your Bootstrap to your React application. I will share this documentation. Okay. So what we saw today, the first thing is I just saw your demo, right? So GUI task one, then task one demo. Then what else we covered? React with Bootstrap. Yeah. Okay. So now the main thing is coming for you. Task. Let's see. So your task, because this is a weekend, right? So you can try out many things. Okay. So come here. Task one. So this is not specific to your Zen portal. This is my own task so that I can evaluate each, at least 2 to 3 people. When you demo, I can know that I can confirm that you guys are understanding that. Okay. Task 1. Okay. We are going to create a page. Okay. Something like this. Okay. The same. Okay. So here you need, for example, this particular, you need to create the same kind of thing here that we displayed here. Okay. Only thing is you need to apply your bootstrap. Okay. The first thing is apply bootstrap. Okay. For your forms, table, and what else? Button or whatever. Okay. So apply bootstrap for your form, this form and table. Okay. So it cannot be like, it's up to you. You can think of anything. Okay. You can have a normal bootstrap here, or you can have vertical or horizontal, whatever the thing. It's up to you. Okay. So that's the thing. This is your task 1. Apply bootstrap. Task 2. Here you are entering some values here, right? Something like 1, 2, another thing. Okay. Instead of entering this particular user ID here, you need to have a select checkbox here. Okay? I mean, select options here. So inside that, what is the options are? Go to here, go to the users API. Here you are getting list of users, right? This particular ID, this your location option here, right? Your select options. That particular select option should list all the names that are mentioned this in this particular API. Okay. So your user ID in your form should be select option. Okay. So select option kind of thing. So what is the options? The options inside your this particular API. The data here, right? So this particular API, this data should be populated here. Okay. So your name alone. Okay. The name alone should be populated. Okay. When they select that particular name, okay, you need to select this particular ID in your state. Okay. So ID of the user. So user ID should be this 1 and 2 and other things. Okay. This is your second task. Okay. Now task 3. Here you need to have one more button. Okay. So one more button. So add new button. Okay, actually 2 buttons. Okay. 2 new buttons. Okay. What are the buttons? Get user, get comment. Okay. Comments. Okay. So you need to have 2 buttons in, with respect to edit and delete. Okay. You need to add 2 more buttons. One is get user and get comments. Okay. So when you click on get user, okay, you need to display the information about the user who posted this particular data. For example, who is the user that posted this particular data? User ID 1, right? Okay. So the information that is specific to user ID 1, you should display that particular data below this particular column. When I click on this, below this particular row, it should display. Okay. So here, if you go to the 1 here, okay, first user details will be pasted. So these data here, right, that should be displayed whenever I click on that particular button. Consider there is a button here. So I got called get user. If I click on that particular get user button, you need to display the information about the user who has an ID 1. Okay. So what is the information? Name, username, email ID, and whatever. Okay. You can take any data here. You can display all the data if it needs. Okay. So display those data. Same. If I click on get comments, okay. So here get comments, go over here, okay. So you need to get the comments for this particular post, right? Go to the comments here, okay. Sorry. Post, okay. So for example, if I click on the post ID 1, okay, or post ID 2. So consider I'm taking an example of 3 here, okay. I'm going to take the ID here 3, okay. So I'm getting the particular post details, okay. And when I click on the comments, get comments, okay, we can get those comments here, post 3 dot comments, okay. So For the post ID 3, these are the comments. So who posted? Yeah, someone with email ID Veronica. Okay, and these are the comments that are posted for this particular ID. Okay, particular post. Okay, so you need to display at the bottom again. Okay, so you can display at the bottom or you can display at the top of the table. It's up to you. My intention is whenever I click on that particular button, you have to make an API call to this particular URL. Okay, so post/ID and that particular comments. Okay, you need to make an API call to the server and display here anywhere, something like below or whatever. It's up to you. My intention is you need to work with your Axios, make an API call to the server, store it in the state, and display them correspondingly. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, clear about the task? Clear about your task? All the 3 tasks. So I'll have here. Already. Okay. So does it look like difficult? Does it look like difficult? Can you guys do that? Explain task 2 once more. Okay. So see, I'm going to explain again all the tasks. Okay. So just have a look on this. Okay. So first task is you are going to use Bootstrap. Okay. So it's not like forms or whatever. Okay. So what I'll do is apply Bootstrap design. Okay. So you need to apply Bootstrap to your page. That's it. Okay. You can use anything. You can use table component, button, form, and whatever. Okay. Second task is here. I'm manually typing something here, right? Something like this. Okay. Instead of typing that, okay, what I need is I need here a select options. Okay. And that particular select option should list all the names here. We'll go to the users here. All the names here. So Lena Graham or Erwin Howell. Okay. I need to have a select options here. Okay. When I click on that, my option should be these names. Okay. So when I click on particular name, okay, you need to get the ID of the particular user. So basically ID 1 here, right? So particular user is nothing but the user ID. Okay. So that's the thing. Clear on the task 2. So you should take the user ID whom you select here. Okay. So that is the task. Okay. So I'm changing here the name to user. Okay. So it is not user because you are going to display user name here. Okay. It can be user here. And internally you can get that user ID in your state. Okay. So clear on the second task. Can everyone confirm? So this is the crucial part. So you need to understand how it works. Okay. So now the third task is you need to have 2 more buttons here, something like edit, delete. You need to have something called get user and get comments, or just have user comments. Okay. So when you click on user button, you need to display the user information of this particular post. Okay. So who posted this? User ID with 1, right? You need to display the information about the user with ID 1. So how can I do it? The same users here. Just go over here and slash user ID like 1. You will get the data. Okay, and you can just display the particular data. Okay, same way if I click on comments. Okay, so if I click on comments, okay, what you need to do is you need to get all the comments for this particular post. So comments are, I told you, right? So posts are nothing but an FB post. Okay, so your post may have comments, right? So that's what. So if you want to get fetch, when I click on comments button here, okay, you need to fetch the comments for this particular post. Okay, so URL is, this is the URL. Okay, so post/id, the corresponding post, and slash comments. Okay, you will be getting all the comments. What is happening here? Post 1 slash comments. Okay, it will list all your comments. So name of the comment, email, who posted it, and body of the particular post. Okay, you just display them there. Okay, so that is your third task. Clear on the task? So once you do this without any reference or without copying the codes from anywhere, okay, you can master the React fundamentals. Okay, so you will master everything here. So because it applies to your design, it applies to your getting fetch API, I mean, making a call to the server and get data. It applies to your state. And here you are going to display your user details, right? Okay. So you can create a component called user, okay, and you can use that particular component here. Okay. Same way that applies to your comments. If you want to have a separate thing for your comment, okay, you can have a component there and have them imported below that particular edit here. Okay. Or you can have a modal. Okay. So you know what is a modal. So whenever you click on the get click users, okay. So modal is nothing but an option, right? So React. So you try using this particular component. Okay. So modal. Okay. So suppose I have this here. Okay. Something like consider this is something called get user or comments. Okay. When I click on this, inside your pop-up, you just display your all the information about the user. Okay. Same way, if I click on get comments, just display all the comments for the particular user. Okay. So you can use modal. So that will be easy for you. Okay. So try using modal then. So that's the thing. So for this button here, I will add that here. Okay. Display user and comments in a modal, bootstrap modal. Okay. So that is the task. So 3 tasks. So if you do this, you can master your fundamentals. I'm sure about that. Thing is, you should not refer anything. You can refer, but first try yourself. Okay. So when only after a crucial time, okay, suppose you are trying for around 1 hour, okay, then you can refer them. Okay, but don't miss to try them. Okay, so that's the thing. So that's my request actually. So React and everything is done. So clear on this? Can we wind up the session for this week? Yeah, it's like Instagram or whatever. Okay, so it's like comment section. Yeah, please do this task. So this is crucial. This is only for me. Okay, so these are all the tasks that are given by me. Okay, so that is no way related to Zen. Okay, so please try out this and yeah, and share them. Please reach out me on that day on Monday. So yeah, please change session timing. Monday. Okay, so morning it's not possible for me actually. I am working in US based company, so I am working at night actually. So my work time starts at 6 o'clock. So I will start my work at 6 p.m. Okay, so in the morning time I will be basically sleeping. I need some rest. That's why. So I will try that. At least one day I will try it possible. Okay, sorry about that. So why is there? Okay, I shared that. So would you please add all the reference links in the Zen portal? Okay, I will ask the student coordinator to do that. Okay, so I will share and feedback from us there. Okay, so please do ask me if you have any questions on Monday. Okay, we will clear all the doubts. So your fundamentals are done now. Okay, so I will say you the agenda for the next sessions. Okay, so do you need this particular data here? I explained about the pricing data, right? We need this. No, I won't share you that. Okay, I just ask for fun. Please try out yourself. Okay, so the agenda for the next week is, so we are done with our fundamentals. Okay, so we'll be seeing some advanced concepts in React. So if I want to show you the plan, so this is what I had for you guys. Okay, actually I had React hooks today. Okay, so that was my plan, but yesterday CRUD apps and other things took some time. Okay, so it will go to another day. Okay, So on Friday we'll be seeing React hooks. Then we'll be seeing what is the React routers. So once these two things are done, okay, so then we will move to React Advanced. Okay, so there are certain concepts like references, pure comp, and other things. It will go for 2 days, and then lastly, so I think next Friday I will give you a recap of all the React that we have done. Okay, so basic recap, the component state until the formic library. Okay, so yes, that's the thing. So this is the plan. So basic, in my as per my plan, so next Friday you will complete your React. Okay, let's see. Can you send the post app session, this one? Okay. So it's a weekend, right? Okay, please try out this. I will share you this as well. Okay, that's not an issue. So this is about your pricing. Pricing and what else? It should be post app. Yeah. So if not, we can wind up the session, and please try out the logics that we saw this week. Okay, so then only you can understand the React. Okay, so I'm sure it will be you will forget everything if you don't try it. Okay, please try out them. So then only it will be in your mind, and try some errors. Okay, so the basis for your coding is how much time you make your error, so that makes you master. Okay, so that's the thing. So do errors, do try different things, and struggle yourself, and use this particular weekend. Okay, because this particular weekend, until this point of time, we completed some fundamentals. Okay, so once you do that, in the next sessions like advanced session, you will understand the concepts very easily. Okay, so that's the thing. Please try out them. That's my request. Yeah. Thank you guys, and see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.